mark schwa during spelling analysis to make it clear to students. Otherwise, the say to spell seems strange with words with schwa. We don't mark schwa. If you remember, schwa is the most common sound in English, so we would be marking it a lot. And I've personally never seen students who really struggle with naturally, who are native English speakers, putting in schwa where we say it. But it is fine to talk about it too if you're finding a student is, mispronouncing a word. Another thing that's interesting is a lot of emerging readers will read the as the and as a as they're going, but do you think that changes their ability to comprehend? Not at all. And so it's possible to just say to them, oh, that one has a lazy vowel. What does it say? Oh, that's right, it says the. So just reminding them of that. But usually it's just those couple of words as they're emerging, and then you remind them, remember that one has a lazy vowel sound, and then they just begin to replace it. Many programs, too, that teach systematic phonics like this don't even teach schwa. They just teach very clearly how to say to spell the words. They have their own name for that. But we also think it's really helpful to explain why do we always hear and in these words as opposed to the actual vowel sounds. How would you support students with limited cognitive ability or who are not able to hold the whole word or syllables in their working memory? I think there's a number of things. First of all, yesterday we were doing really long words. You're likely to be doing much shorter words. And then, yes, it's fine to give some visuals. I think you could use phonogram tiles to show the size of them. You could, if you're doing multi-syllable words and they have working memory issues, you could have them write the first syllable and then do the second syllable. I think that would be fine to scaffold it that way. That's not a problem at all. In the future, if I find myself in a school that does not use Logic of English, how can I use Logic of English strategies and implement them into a different curriculum? I don't want students to miss out on these skills. I think we see teachers moving between schools and they bring the phonograms. They bring the spelling rules. They don't teach sight words. They really explain how and why words are read and spelled that way. Spelling lists, right? Rather than just handing them a list, you can use spelling analysis with them. And it might be that you end up introducing a lot of concepts kind of all at once, but that's totally fine. If you're working in an elementary school and you have a list of sight words, you could use sounding out the sight words, which shows you how to explain each of the sight words, using commonly taught sight words, using the phonograms and spelling rules. Is there a curriculum you recommend using after Essentials has been completed? Students, though, who finish Essentials, if they were to finish it all the way through, would have strong reading and spelling skills and composition skills. If you've used the Essentials Reader and all of those composition programs are pieces as well. If you just did level A, there are people who go back and redo Essentials and just review part one really, really quickly, but then do the higher level spelling list and focus on vocabulary. Or if they skip the grammar, they add in grammar and vocabulary. So some people do go through as a second review. But the idea would be that we're setting students up or preparing them to really succeed, to focus on their subjects. And at that point, that's outside of Logic of English's realm, expertise. It's a really good idea to have kids facing you directly and doing things in the direction of reading and writing, and especially kids who are struggling a lot with directionality, just being really aware that if they're sitting sideways to you, they're actually having to translate that image. So especially those children who are struggling with directionality, just be very intentional about the direction that they're facing and the way that you're modeling. But with finger spelling too, as we talked about, be sure to do it in the direction of reading and writing.